Greetings. It is story time with Dr. T. I hope the video is showing properly in landscape. If someone is logged on, send me a message and let me know if you're seeing it properly. I don't want to record it sideways again. So at any rate, I'm looking forward to sharing another story with you. We're living in a difficult time, and many people are feeling stressed as a result of everything going on in the country and in the world with the coronavirus and the lack of leadership in government and shutdowns and etc. And so in the midst of that, it's important that we also have story, that we listen to story, that we recall story, that we share stories, and that we record our stories too, because every story is important. Every story is valuable. Every story has merit. And so in that vein, I'm happy to share stories with you. Now, I don't know if I'm doing this thing properly or not. I hope that I am. So the story for today I'm going to share is Barack Obama of VIC. Now maybe I'm a little early, so I'll wait a few minutes to give people that told me they were going to log on time to log on, because I like to share stories with people. And just so you know, this story will repeat. It'll be on my Facebook page after the recording is over. So, I don't know what I'm seeing up here. No, I don't know how to get out of here. I did something wrong, folks. Okay, now I'm back. So anyhow, the story that I'm going to share, I'll wait another minute or so. But for those of you who are home with your children and your grandchildren, it's important for them to read every day, and for you to read to them and with them, and for them to also see you reading. It's a cliche, but reading is fundamental. And I can't impress how much reading can expand someone's mind and horizons. You can read anything in a book. And so it's important that children are exposed to a variety of books, of different genres of books, books within their level they can read by themselves, or books that they can need, adult assistance with. They call that at their instructional level. But at any rate, it's important to read books. So it is now 5:02. I guess I'm rushing it, the envelope, rushing it. I'll start at 5:05. And in the meantime, for families that are home with their children, have them practice writing every day. Not just writing, filling in a worksheet or a ditto or a workbook that may have been sent home in a package that they need to complete during the shutdown, but taking a blank piece of paper and having them compose their thoughts. You can have them make a list of 10 things that they really like, or 10 things that interest them, or 10 things that, things that they would like to do, or what have you, a list. And then each day have them expand on one of those things. And then as a parent or a family member, you go back and have them add detail, and adjectives, and make it vivid. So during this time, you will be giving them probably more writing experience with creative writing than they may even get in school. Just a suggestion. I've been working in education a long time, so I've seen lots of places that children are only exposed to formulaic writing, or writing where it's a prescribed sentence and they're filling in the blank. They're not composing their thoughts. I'm old school. When I grew up, you took out a piece of notebook paper and a pencil or pen and you wrote. And yes, the teacher took the red pen and corrected your work and, Sometimes people's feelings were hurt, and some people, it motivated them. I don't necessarily agree with the red pen correction mode, but, it's important for children to have these experiences. So, with this being said, excuse me one second. I'm going to get started on this book. The title of this book is Of Thee I Sing, Of Thee I Sing, A Letter to My Daughters. And it's written by Barack Obama. And I just have to say, I love the Obama family. In spite of the fact that Barack Obama was a politician, and politicians make decisions that are based on political motivation. In spite of that, he was a major inspiration to me, to the world, but especially to black and brown children, to see a person that looked like them in that high level of a position. He was a symbol of hope. He was a symbol of pride. He was a symbol that I could, and me and many others could identify with. And so I was elated when I first saw this book, and I bought it for my grandchildren, my different grandchildren's families. And so here we go, Barack Obama's book, Of Thee I Sing, A Letter to My Daughters. I haven't mastered how to show the video without it showing in reverse order. Of Thee I Sing. Have I told you lately how wonderful you are? How the sound of your feet running from afar brings dancing rhythms to my day? How you laugh and sunshine spills into the room? Have I told you that you are creative? A woman named Georgia O'Keeffe moved to the desert and painted petals, bone, bark. She helped us see big beauty in what is small, the hardness of stone and the softness of feather. Have I told you that you are smart, that you braid great ideas with imagination? A man named Albert Einstein turned pictures in his mind into giant advances in science, changing the world with energy and light. Have I told you that you are brave? A man named Jackie Robinson played baseball and showed us all how to turn fear to respect and respect to love. He swung his bat with the grace and strength of a lion and gave brave dreams to other dreamers. Have I told you that you are a healer? Sitting Bull was a Sioux medicine man who healed broken hearts and broken promises. It is fine that we are different, he said. For peace, it is not necessary for eagles to be crows. Though he was put in prison, his spirit soared free on the plains, and his wisdom touched the generations. Sitting Bull, remember that name. Have I told you that you have your own song? A woman named Billie Holiday wore gardenia in her hair and sang beautiful songs, blues to the world. Her voice, full of sadness and joy, made people feel deeply and add their melodies to the chorus. Have I told you that you are strong? A woman named Helen Keller fought her way through long, silent darkness. Though she could not see or hear, she taught us to look at and listen to each other. Never wait for life to get easier. She gave others courage to face their challenges. Have I told you how important it is to honor other sacrifices? A woman named Maya Lin designed the Vietnam Veterans Memorial to remember those who gave their lives in the war, and the Civil Rights Memorial to thank the many who fought for equality. Public spaces should be filled with art, she thought, so that we can walk amidst it, recalling the past and inspired to fix the future. Have I told you that you are kind? A woman named Jane Addams fed the poor and helped them find jobs. She opened doors and gave people hope. She taught adults and invited children to play and laugh and let their spirits grow wild. Have I told you that you don't give up? When violence erupted in our nation, a man named Martin Luther King Jr. taught us unyielding compassion. He gave us a dream that all races and creeds would walk hand in hand. He marched and he prayed, and one at a time opened hearts and saw the birth of his dream in us. Have I told you that you are an explorer? A man named Neil Armstrong was the first to walk on the moon. He watched the world from way up high, and we watched his lunar landing leaps, which made us brave enough to take our own big, bold strides. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't show you that page. I'm sorry. Have I told you that you are inspiring? A man named Cesar Chavez showed farm workers their own power when they felt they had none. The people were poor but worked hard and loved the land. Cesar picketed, prayed, and talked. The people listened to their hearts and marched for their rights. Si se puede, Cesar said. Yes, you can. Have I told you that you are part of a family? A man named Abraham Lincoln knew that all of America should work together. He kept our nation one and promised freedom to enslaved sisters and brothers. This man of the people, simple and plain, asked more of our country that we behave as kin. The Abraham Lincoln story is a little deeper than that. Talk to your family about it. I just had to add that. Have I told you to be proud to be American? Our first president, George Washington, believed in liberty and justice for all. His barefoot soldiers crossed wintry rivers, forging ever on. He helped make an ideal into a new country, strong and true, a country of principles, a country of citizens. Interesting page. Have I told you that America is made up of people of every kind? People of every races, religions, and beliefs. People from the coastlines and the mountains. People who have made bright light shine by sharing their unique gifts. and giving us the courage to lift one another up, to keep up the fight, to work and build upon all that is good in our nation. Have I told you that they are all a part of you? Have I told you that you are one of them and that you are the future? And have I told you that I love you? And that, my dear friends, is the end. I don't necessarily agree with every person that was highlighted, especially George Washington, because I know the history is far deeper than that. But I think it's a wonderful book to show, to illustrate the diversity that exists in this country, in the United States. And to the children that are listening, we do live in a very diverse country. It means it's made up of all kinds of people, people of different colors, people that have different beliefs, people that live with different family types, people that live in different neighborhoods, people that speak different languages. But we're all one family in the human family. And I'm going to take the liberty and read 2 books today, just because I feel like it. And this book is named Sulwe by Lupita Nyong'o. So this will be the second book for today. Sulwe. See, I can angle myself a little bit differently. Okay. Sulwe, written by Lupita Nyong'o. Sulwe was born the color of midnight. She looked nothing like her family, not even a little, not even at all. Mama was the color of dawn, Baba the color of dusk, and Mitch, her sister, was the color of high noon. Hardly anyone at school looked like Sulwe either. People gave her sister Mitch pet names like Sunshine and Ray and Beauty. People gave Sulwe names like Blackie and Darky and Night. Sulwe felt hurt every time, so she hid away while her sister made lots of friends. Sulwe dreamed of being the same color as her sister. She wanted real friends too. So she got the biggest eraser she could find and tried to rub off a layer or 2 of her darkness. That hurt. She crept into Mama's room and helped herself to her makeup. Oh no, she would hear about this from Mama. Sulwe decided to work from the inside out and ate only the lightest, brightest foods. With the stomach ache, she went to bed early and turned to God for a miracle. Dear Lord, why do I look like midnight when my mother looks like dawn? Please make me as fair as the parents I'm from. I want to be beautiful, not just to pretend. I want to have daylight. I want to have friends. If you hear me, my Lord, and would like to comply, may I wake up as bright as the sun in the sky. Amen. When Mama came in to work her for school the next morning, Sulwe rose to find not a trace of daylight in her midnight skin. Messing up with this. Okay. Sulwe told Mama everything. Mama asked, "What is your name?" "Sulwe," she muttered. "And what does it mean?" "Star," Sulwe whispered. Brightness is not in your skin, my love. Brightness is just who you are. As for beauty, Mama said, rubbing Sulwe's stomach the way she always did to comfort her, you are beautiful. Sulwe sighed. Well, you're beautiful to me, but you can't rely on what you look like to make you feel beautiful, my sweet. Real beauty comes from your mind and your heart. It begins with how you see yourself, not how others see you. Now up you get and out you go. How could she, as dark as she was, have brightness in her? How could she have beauty when no one but her mother seemed to see it? How could she be a star? That night, a shooting star appeared at Sulwe's window. The night sent me, the star said. Come with me. Sulwe hopped onto the star, and off they went. Long ago, at the beginning of time, said the star, there was night and day, and they were sisters. They loved each other very much, but people didn't treat the sisters the same. People gave day pet names like lovely and nice and pretty. People gave night names like scary and bad and ugly. She felt hurt every time. Well, night got fed up and walked right off the earth. Day stayed behind and enjoyed making everybody happy in the sun. But then day grew too long. Day really began to miss her sister, and so did everyone else. There had to be a way to get her back. Day set off to find Night, and she did. I miss you, said Day. I miss you too, said Night, but you don't know what it's like to be treated badly for being dark. You're right, I don't, Day replied, but what I do know is that we need you just the way you are. Come and see. Night returned and the people rejoiced. We need the darkest night to get the deepest rest. We need you so that we can grow and dream and keep our secrets to ourselves. The stars chimed in. Brightness is just for daylight. Light comes in all colors, and some light can only be seen in the dark. While day had a golden glow, with night, everything had a silver sheen, elegant and fine. Day told her sister, when you are darkest is when you are most beautiful. It is when you are most you. Could it be that night did not need to change, not even a little, not even at all? Now that night and day were back together, a little bit of night returned to day in the form of shadows, and a little bit of day returned to night in the form of moonlight. They were inseparable from that moment on, and promised to celebrate the brightness in each other, whether people chose to see it or not. You see, the star explained, we need them both, on their sunniest day and their darkest night, and every shade in between. Together they make the world we know light and dark, strong and beautiful. Sulwe rose the next morning beaming. There will be no hiding anymore. She belonged out in the world, dark and beautiful, bright and strong. And if she ever needed a reminder of her brightness, she could look up at the sky on the darkest night to see for herself. Sulwe felt beautiful inside and out. And that, my dear friends, is the end of book 2. So, I close by saying, read to your family. Reading is important. You can be whatever you choose to be. You know, the first book of Thee I Sing talked about different careers. So tomorrow, ask your children, what do they want to be when they grow up? What type of things? We don't have to be one thing anymore. What are the top 3 things they want to be? And let them write about each one of those things one day at a time and expand upon it. Let them do research on what is required to achieve that career or that goal. So that you can combine research, creating a list of those things, and developing it into an essay. So that's one of the I Sing. And for Sulwe, remember, no matter how you look, no matter what shade you are, no matter whether you're tall or short or heavy or skinny or anything in between, you are beautiful, and I love you. And I will see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock with Storytime with Dr. Tinsley. Peace.